Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and finally, the mini set has been announced for the Lost Even Goro. It is called the Day of Rebirth, and we're seeing eggs being cracked, quite literally, and masks and all sorts of crazy stuff coming. Of course, there'll be quest support and all sorts of other stuff, but we're gonna review, I believe, 4 cards in this video. This mini set will be launching, as we predicted, on September 2nd. The usual pricing, 2,000 gold for the mini set of 38 cards, or 10,000 gold for the entire thing, golden plus a diamond card. And we're doing our giveaway on the channel. As always, we will start at 3 mini sets paid out of my pocket that I will be giving away. To enter that giveaway, like and comment on this video down below. Whatever you want to say, doesn't matter. Be subscribed to the channel, and basically every 1,000 subs we get until next Tuesday when that mini set goes live, I'll add another mini set to that giveaway. So hit that sub button, make me go baroque. So before we get into the legendaries, we'll start off with one of the themes of this mini set in masks. There's gonna be a bunch of masks. I don't think every class gets one, but we got one here for Hunter, and you'll kind of get an idea of what they are. The Devil Sore Mask. It's 8 mana spell. Set a minion stats to 8/8, like a good old King Krush. And like King Krush, you give it charge. So we just had a video on how crazy Wisp has been lately. You can play a Wisp and play this for 8 mana. You have a little bit of a cheaper King Krush. And of course, maybe there's ways to discount this. I believe there's like the Draenei that's currently still in standard, where your next spell you can make cost less, I think, or make it match the mana cost. I'm not sure, but there's ways of possibly cheating this out and then slapping it onto something cheap. Maybe something with Wind Fury, right? There's a possibility of that. So there's some options out there, and this is also another spell that now goes into the whole big spell mage archetype with that 7 mana thing. You're gonna see this, and that probably won't be amazing most of the time, but it could also represent burst lethal for mage at some point. So it'll be interesting. It also could be bad with like the puzzle box, where it like will set your opponent's stats to 8/8. I've been playing a lot of mage, so it comes together like that. Regardless, is this a good card? Anything that can give charge, you just never know. Obviously, it's 8 mana, very expensive, but the flavor is great on it, and you just, yeah, you never know with mana cheat shenanigans, charge buff. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5, but I would not be shocked if some degenerate, silly combo pops up at some point utilizing some mana cheat. Like, I don't know, in WoW with like the Barbaric Sorcerer, is it called? That Naga, where you could like flip the coin, you could flip it with this maybe. Probably not worth it even a while, but I'll give it a 2 in both formats. You never know. In an arena, it's like, oh god, I gotta kill every minion or else they might play Devil Sore Mask and kill me and all that stuff, or they just develop a minion to kill me. Like, it could create some lethality, absolutely. So definitely, I don't think the worst card in the world, but I'll give it a 2. I don't think it'll quite crack the meta quite yet, but we all know how absolutely wrong I can be all the time. Next, we have a neutral card, yet another tutor card in Hearthstone, the Holy Egg Bear. It is a 2 mana, 1/2 minion, and no tribe, and it has Battle Cry. Draw a 0 attack minion. So you can get an egg, right? You can draw, pretty much you're looking for eggs or a Doomsayer. In Wild, this could go to a whole like Meat Rider deck, right? Where you would try and get those eggs and stuff out like that. But yeah, pretty good to tutor an egg. We've seen plenty of eggs see play. There's going to be apparently a lot of eggs in this mini set, including one we will take a look at right after this. We're gonna look at it right after this. That would be really nice to hit, and it actually curves perfectly into that, which is, I believe, the idea. So basically any cheap card that tutors a specific card for whatever reason sees play at some point. And yeah, 0 attack minion's pretty narrow. It's pretty much just egg minions and things like that, but it'll see play somewhere, whether it's standard, wild, for whatever reason, whatever deck your combo or, you know, thing you're trying to assemble with a certain minion. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard wild. This card will see play at some point. It's just card draw that tutors a specific thing, pretty much always does. So yeah, I think it sees play in standard and wild at some point. And yes, we want to draw some eggs, especially a 3 mana one, and we have the Egg of Kelos, a 3 mana 0/3 egg, right? It's an egg, 0 attack, However, it's literally cracked as, or will get cracked, as it has Death Rattle. Summon a slightly cracked egg. You have to break this 5 times and you get a 2020 beast. So yes, each version of this card has artwork. So you have the Egg of Kelos that gets cracked, slightly more cracked, even more cracked, ridiculously cracked to the point where it's broken open. And then yes, you get Kelos. It's a 10 mana. It counts as 10 mana if it gets like return to your hand, or I guess Conjurer's Calling into another 10 drop, and you get a 2020. That doesn't do anything, but you could slap charge on it in Hunter, I guess. Or if you have any like cheap minion on the board or something like, you know, a cheap charge, you could play the ooze that we got right now, right? The 3 mana ooze, eat those stats and throw it on something else. But this takes a long time to get to, right? You're playing a 3 mana, do nothing, and then you gotta break this a lot. You can kind of help speed up the process with like a Death Rattle proc. I believe Hunter is the 2 mana one currently in standard, so you would get the one out of that, and you can have multiple of them, I guess, theoretically, right? Because this will pop out another egg, and then this one can get an egg. I think Eternal Layover can do some work, but overall, if you look at the Death Knight quest in particular, there's not a lot of great ways to procking it, but there are ways of destroying your own minions, and maybe you get there, but at the end of the day, you're just getting to a 2020, which again, a crap load of stats, right? That's a lot of stats, but it doesn't immediately do anything unless you have a combo built around it. This seems like a very, very flavorful, cool card that people like Mark and Alticon and, you know, the combo players of the world will get some really cool videos out of. I just don't know if it will be a big meta player. I don't even know if it really is going to work very well with Umbra, right? Because each egg has its own Death Rattle, I think. I have no idea how that would particularly work, but regardless, that also seems incredibly slow. So I am going to give this a 2. It kind of reminds me of like those dormant cards, like the Slag Boss and the other one, I can't even remember the one for Hunter that did see play for a minute, that these really slow minions that require a lot of work or patience to just get a bunch of stats typically don't do a lot, right? They just have it historically, but they're really cool. They are really cool cards. So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 1 in wild where I think it's way too slow. But you never ever know, right? It is a historic level of stats. I don't believe we've ever seen that much stats in one card for 3 mana ever. It's just trying to get to it is pretty rough, right? And lastly, we have the final neutral legendaries. So there's 2 this set, like there is for every mini set. We know the rest of the legendaries, I believe, later today. We'll have one more review. But we have the Beast Speaker Taka. It is a 7 mana 2/2. So really bad, like evolve random style card of getting on the board. However, it has Battle Cry. Discover a legendary beast from any class. So no neutral beast. So that usually makes things better. So you discovered that legendary beast and you gain its stats, so you get a pretty large minion, right? Death Rattle, you summon it. So I don't know, just for example, King Plush, right? You can get this will be a 7 mana 8/8, which whatever, it's better than a War Golem. And then when this dies, you get another one, although it won't have charge anymore, right? I don't think it has to have the Battle Cry now, but you can also Death Rattle proc and do other things that can be really good. I look at like Deathlight in particular, although I guess it doesn't work because you have to have the Battle Cry. I was thinking Deathlight, you could like Heron it, but that doesn't work because you need the Battle Cry. So cheating this out is not phenomenal unless you cheat it out by playing it from in hand is the main way of doing, which you could do with like Exarch Maladar, I suppose. Again, thinking of Deathlight, but overall just a cool like Burgle style of card, although you don't actually get the Burgle value. You don't get the card, I believe, added to your hand because it doesn't say summon a copy of it. You just summon it. I don't believe you get the card in your hand on top of everything. So it's just like a big stat bomb into something potentially cool. And that's, you know, is that good enough today's game? Not really. Typically isn't. It's just kind of a fun neutral card. And lately the mini sets have had a neutral legendary that have been outright broken that have to either get nerfed or just really good. Like last set was Fyrakk, and I don't think either of these neutrals really stand out as like real big meta players. I can already see the discussion. Oh no, this mini set is going to be terrible. But these are, you know, the early cards, neutral cards, and again, there's potential for this, but again, I mean, Shutter Block, actually. Think about Shutter Block. That could be pretty good. You get a ton of stats and then, like, try and kill that, but then it gets, like, hexed or, you know, silenced or stolen somehow. I don't know. It's something. Again, I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 in Standard, a 1 in Wild. The amount of beasts that could be potentially hit is way larger, and it's so slow. Even, like, Shutter Walk. Although Shutter Walk Shabe would be pretty cool. Like, infinitely discovering legendary beasts to jam in your Shutter Walk could be pretty neat, but yeah, we'll give it a 2 in Standard, a 1 in Wild, and overall, yeah, it's the first few cards so far. Make sure to get into that giveaway. Let me know what you think about these cards or whatever, and we should have one more review later today. I believe there's 2 more reveals, but one is like 1 card. I'm not gonna do a full review for 1 card. I will try and restrain myself, so we'll see you guys later today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.